Hi there, my name is Abby and I run the business Arts to Educate. So, what inspired me to get into music? Well, my parents, I guess, pushed me to play music, which I'm really grateful for. So from about the age of 5 years old, my parents gave me piano lessons. I took piano lessons weekly then until I was 18, and I was made to practice every single day, starting at the beginning from about 10 minutes, and then as I got older, the time went up. In fact, there was a period of time when I had a little time at the side because it was so hard. It was so hard to motivate yourself to practice and want to practice sometimes. Sometimes I really didn't want to. But they said, well, you have to keep on doing it and you can give up when you're 18. And of course I get to 18 and I'm so grateful that I didn't give up. So that was the piano, and then I started playing the flute actually when I was about 9 years old. So I really remember, I've got a really strong memory of, and that was chosen by me, which was nice, because I remember my next door neighbour, she was playing the flute, and I could hear it coming through from next door, and I asked my parents what that sound was, and they told me it's the flute. They said when you get to a certain grade, I could then play the flute. So that did motivate me to practice a little bit more on the piano, so I had to get that grade in the piano for me to play the flute. So then I started playing the flute, and that was wonderful. The flute came a lot more naturally to me than the piano did. As soon as I picked it up and just blowing into it and getting that sound that came out of the flute, it was magical for me, and I loved playing the flute. A memory that I really remember was playing Can You Feel the Love Tonight on the flute, and I was definitely quite early on in my practice. And I really remember my parents standing there and watching, and I felt so proud of myself. It was really lovely. So that was the flute. And then as I went through school, so I was classically trained with the flute and the piano, and as I went through school into my teenage years, I then started to work a little bit with songwriting. So I started to write my own songs. I was always a little bit of a worrier in school. Got quite nervous about different things, and my brain was kind of everywhere and lots of different emotions. So I remember my mum said, why don't you write it down, write it in song, because music was my thing. And it really worked for me. Oh gosh, I loved writing music. So then the writing of music kind of took over from the classical, and that's when I decided to do commercial music performance as my undergraduate degree. It was such a fun degree. We did a lot of songwriting, we learned about recording, lots of performance, always very nervous for performance, but I loved it. And then I started to do lots of gigs around London, which was amazing, starting off with open mic nights, and then I had a band, and then we did different gigs. So exciting. Sometimes I forget that I did that, and it feels really nice to remember actually that I did that. So I did it for about a year after university, but something still wasn't sitting right with me. So that's when I decided to do my PGCE with music as my specialism. So I did that very tough year. Definitely wondered why I was doing it, but suddenly I'm in the classroom with children and teaching them, and that was a magical experience. Just seeing kind of young minds come to life and feel like excited about life and what I'm teaching them, that felt awesome. So I taught for about 3.5 years, primary school, and then I was the music specialist in school, which was really great, but was a lot of work, and I felt like I didn't get to do as much music and art with the children as I wanted to do. So I then stopped being a teacher, moved from London where I was teaching to Bournemouth where I am still living, and that's when I started my business Arts to Educate. So it's taken about 6 years to build up to where I am now, and now I run art, music and drama workshops in a range of primary schools around this area, and I love it. Oh, I feel so, it's really lovely to see the journey actually from where I've come from to now, and I know that my parents pushing me to play music from such a young age has got me to where I am today. So that's super. Now, one of my favourite things to teach in schools is songwriting. And I think that's really stayed with me, the songwriting side of things. I think just because I found it difficult to express myself, and I found that music really helped me, I love teaching it. So there's that, and I really hope that young people and children will also start to write for themselves, but also it just helped me with my learning. So academic subjects were difficult for me, and I remember being in science lessons and I couldn't remember the facts properly, and it just couldn't go in. So then I decided through my exams, so through my teenage years, I would write little songs to help me remember the facts, help me understand the topic a little bit more. So I'm there in the exam singing these songs, and I did really well in my exams. But the music helped me. Music got me through that, and that's partly also why I started my business and why I called it Arts to Educate, because I believe that the arts really do help to educate you. It all goes together. We all learn in different ways. That was my way of learning. So I really think that there will be other young people and children out there who also want to learn in that way and maybe need that. So what is it about music that makes it so special? Gosh, music really is special. I think everything that I said before there are all good reasons why music is so special. Something else, it's everybody's language. That's so wonderful. No matter what language you speak, I can go into, say, a classroom, and there could be lots of different children, maybe some who don't speak English, and yet with music, it brings everybody together. You don't need to do much talking with it. I can be playing, modelling, showing, and then children can just do it straight away because of what they see and what they hear. Even when I am singing words, I do lots of actions, especially with the little ones, kind of really physical. So then these children are humming along, moving, and then gradually also learning those words, which is awesome. So it really is that language for everybody. I have a really lovely memory actually when I was teaching music in a class, and the teacher came up to me beforehand to tell me that there was one little boy and he was deaf. All she told me, she said, he will be fine, just use lots of actions, use your hands lots, model it really well. So I did, and he was amazing. He completely did everything perfectly, if there is perfection in music, eh? Walking to the beat, tapping different rhythms, because he was watching me, and the joy on his face, the excitement, it was so special, and I will remember that forever. Something else that is special about music is that feeling of getting transported to somewhere else. I feel it's such a mindful experience. Once you practice and you have your instruments, or even if you're listening to music, your mind just kind of goes off onto it. I remember just getting sucked in, especially growing up. I really remember that with the flute. But then once again, when I started to write my own music, I could be there for hours writing and playing, and that was all I was thinking about at that time. And that's really important, just to really be in that moment, and music can do that for you. So what role do I think that music and the arts can play in this current climate? Gosh, it's a big one, isn't it? Well, it's just so important. We have been through something really hard recently. These last few years have been tough, and music can just give that little bit of joy, just to relax a bit, but then also to be playful, to be silly. I think sometimes life can get so serious, and with music and the arts, there doesn't have to be a right way to do it sometimes. Sometimes it's really great in the classroom to give lots of instruments and let children express themselves, and playing different rhythms and experimenting with sounds, and then songwriting what kind of comes out of them. or listening to music at the beginning of the day and drawing kind of what you hear and what images you see in your mind. Nothing is wrong with that, and that's really lovely to kind of have pieces and have times to express yourself in a way where there's not a right or wrong answer. It is what it is because you have felt it. That's important. Ooh, so the future of music. So my dream of the future of music is that music is definitely taught in schools at least once a week. Oh, absolutely. It's so important, but even more than once a week, just kind of integrate it into the lessons. As I said before, it has really helped me. It helped me in school, learning different subjects, learning facts, phrases, remembering them, understanding kind of emotions of different characters because we've sung about it. So it can be integrated into the lessons. So I would love for that to be the future of music, that it really is. It's a core subject. It should be just as important as all the other subjects. It's the same, isn't it? It should be the same. Okay, so advice I would give anyone starting music. Practice. Lots and lots of practice. The more you practice, the better you get. It can be difficult. It is really difficult, but sometimes the most difficult things are the most rewarding. And honestly, that practice has paid off. I wouldn't be here chatting to you today if I hadn't have that. It really is the greatest gift. So keep at it, and I really hope you keep on enjoying music. Thank you so much for listening, and I really hope it's inspired you to play music, maybe pick up a new instrument, and to practice and enjoy and let go and express yourself. Thank you so much. Bye.